Hey, what's up everyone? It's Dolbeck today for a Firestaff Rapier build for Catacomb. This build is made to main the Rapier, and I'm gonna have one version for like tanking or just taking the aggro with a medium armor build with a lot of leeching, and there's gonna be a version in light armor just to pure DPS, be able to backstab while your teammate take the aggro. But you know, into a group where there's 3 DPS and light armor, the aggro can be sketchy. So take care if you go with like 5 con, sometimes the group gonna get wiped. So this is why that I put a build in medium armor and in light armor so you guys can just adapt and you don't need a healer with all that. I just want to say that for the defensive slot on your armor, I think that Enchanted Ward could be still the best PvE perk. Then there's Wellness that give you more HP. There's Elemental Aversion that is kinda usable, but it's more like a situational perk. I think that Enchanted Ward is still better than that. And then the gem slot on your armor are still very good. I think that if you have a full armor without gem slot, you're missing out a lot of protection. So now you can have that perk called Life Stealer Drought on your armor. There is a couple other life stealing perk that you can get like this, and by combining all of them, you can create a really sick build. But always remember that if you want to go into the path of lifesteal, you need to not give up too much armor because the health that you're gonna lifesteal, you're gonna lose it straight up. So to make your lifesteal worth a good amount, you need a decent amount of protection. So to make your rapier build it harder, you're gonna use the Inferno, and on the Inferno there's Keenly Empower. I kinda realize that Keenly Empower now work on both of your weapon, even if you got it on the Fire Staff. Same for Vicious, it's gonna apply on both weapon. So by putting it on your gear, it's gonna make it useless if you're using the Inferno with it. So just remember that you can probably change the Kidney Empower on the Inferno too, but I would recommend to have at least one stack of it. Well, it's maximum one stack anyway. I wanted to show you guys this rapier right there. It's the Life Ring Rapier. You drop it, you drop it in Eden Grove over there. You see there's a shrine where you can just teleport there, use that street and go to Torto Ribbon. Right there, it's the life ring. There's a couple special drop into that are pretty good. And the life ring, I think rapier, the life ring rapier gonna be amazing. So you can see vicious and rogue is like illegal combination. Maybe they changed it and now you can craft it together, but you're not supposed to be able to craft it. And then you got acutely empowered that just make it better, and I put omnidirectional evade so I can reach my empower cap without the help of my teammate. And then you see I have 12% empower on the rapier, and then I got another 10% empower right there from the keenly empower. And after that you got the empower from the diamond right there, so it's another 15%. So right there you reach like almost 40%. Yeah, you reach 37%, and then you got the awning stone that is another 7%, so it's 44% empower. So you near the empower cap like this, and then you can get some stuff like empowering toast on the e-ring to get to your empower cap. There's some other solution too, like most of the time you're gonna have some teammate that's gonna empower you. You got some people with flail that give you empower or void gauntlet. So if you have a good team composition, you're gonna be empower cap all the time. So Leeching Flurry is a nice perk for this. I got it on my light armor build. I'ma show the light armor build real quick. You see, I add omnidirectional evade on the armor because I was using the finisher, but now it's possible to take off Deadly Flourish and put evade on it. But at this point, it just depends, do you want to be a bleed rapier or a evade rapier? But this guide is more about the evade rapier, so this is why I'm telling you that. If you go with the finisher, I would go with the Void Gauntlet or the Spear as a secondary. Having some CC into this game mode is insane. So yeah, finisher, you go with Void Gauntlet to empower yourselves, the teammate, give some weekend, stuff like that. And then if you want to go with the Inferno, because you see, you need bleeds to make the finisher work. The 15% only work on people with bleed. So if you don't have any teammate that apply bleed and you don't have a spear, it's gonna be pretty hard to always be with the bleed, always have the bleed on. So this is why I propose the Inferno that gives you the same 15% damage buff, but it's gonna be always up to empower your rapier. And the Inferno damage buff is a base damage buff. It's not counted into the 50% empower cap. This fire kick right there inflict enfeebling, and it's got the empower built in too. So this is why I was using that. I am well aware that most of the people have vines, and this is why I put that, just to make more variety into the build. Onto the Inferno, maybe you can put like Sundering Stack or something that could be like a support. I think Sundering Stack could be good for this build just because you can throw your ability from distance, take the aggro or whatever, and then you just use your rapier. It's made to main the rapier, and this is why I almost never use the fire staff, but into the medium build that I used to kinda carry people or like tank, you can say, I'm using a Carnelian into it, and I think about putting the Sundering Stack on it just to be able to rend. But I know that already a lot of people have Sundering Stack, so it's not a need, you know. So if you're in medium, the Incinerate is compatible with the taunt. You can probably taunt in light armor too and kinda tank the stuff, but if you want to feel safe and carry people, you can just use this with a Carnelian. You're gonna be able to keep the aggro of the boss and stuff like that. It's gonna help your team a lot. And if you're in light armor and you want to DPS, you can just put Fire Pillar or Meteor Shower, but you're almost better to not use them. You can put 5 Fire Stack and then go back to your Rapier, but I would not recommend to play too much with the Fire Staff, since you're gonna have some int and dex in. So this is what the tree look like. It's a pretty good tree since I'm gonna use the riposte a lot, mostly into the tank build because I'm always gonna face tank, pop the riposte. I have the weapon perk over there on my earring, Sundering Riposte. So every time I riposte, I'm gonna apply rend. I got refreshing move that help me to pop more ability, more riposte, more evade, etc. You know. And then I don't feel the riposte because I don't need the stun duration. I don't feel the evade because yes, having this can help mostly in PvP, but since I'm in PvE, I'm gonna try to abuse of the bleed, you know, getting more raw DPS base damage. You got a bit of haste into the fire staff too, so when you use the ability just to move faster like the burnout to be able to reach the mob before your teammate reach it, to be able to taunt and stuff like that, then you're gonna have a haste built in, so you're gonna always stay on the front. So right now, since I'm in a kinda tank version, I use the tumbler free trap since I'm in medium armor. Maybe there's some other option, but I think Tumblr is a good all around, and this is why I use it. And if you go in light armor, you're gonna use the nimble coat, Attune leather pants, or winged leather shoes. The winged leather shoes could be a good option if you want to kinda tank too, because you're gonna keep the haste longer. You're gonna be able to stay in the front and always reach the room first and take the aggro. Your teammate not gonna waste time waiting for you. But Nimble Coat for the DPS is amazing, same for Attune Leather Pants. And then I use Blood Drinker because leeching as a tank is great. There's not always a healer, and you don't need a healer at all in Catacombs, so you can just go with Blood Drinker, heal yourself, keep the aggro, and I like it. And if you don't go with Blood Drinker, there's a couple viable options like Endless Thirst, Elemental Ban, or Ankh, depending if you have a healer or not. You don't even need to put a artifact jewelry. Maybe they added a new one, but I don't think so. So on the earring, I could have empowering toes that could be a nice upgrade, but it's the start of the season, so having all best in slot is almost impossible. So what I realized is you can have double protection on the amulet, and you can have enchanted ward, elemental aversion, and then a attack perk. I did put leeching because it's cheap right now onto the market, but you can add some nice perk like vicious or enchanted. Thwarting strike is kinda decent for the rapier. Even Keen could be cheap option. Just fill your damage slot. I think that Vicious and Rogue could be the best for the DPS. Mostly if you're in light armor and you want to DPS while someone is tanking for you, I think Rogue and Vicious are the best. And if you're kinda tanking, you go for some stack of Vicious, Leeching, Keen, and just some stuff. Since you're not always gonna backstab, it's gonna be great. So you can see you got 9% critical enchants built into the rapier, so it's only 1 hit out of 10. It's not a lot, and you gain some cooldown reduction when you hit some critical, so keen stack are not a waste. As you can see, I got a keen stack there. It was already built in the helmet, so I decided to not change it. And then I got Enchanted Ward and some conditioning. Hasted Vigor is kinda nice too. And then Keenly Empower, I added it without realizing that the Keenly Empower of my Firestaff is overwriting it. And even when you have the Rapier out, the Empower from the Firestaff gonna empower your Rapier. So right there I could change something. The uplight gear is still a pretty good starter. It's gonna take time to find something better, mostly that the charm costs money. I already spent like 150k just by buying some charm and testing the stuff around. So if you still have some uplight, you can use it for Catacomb and farm some better gear with it. Catacomb dropped the 750 gear, and then yeah, you just fill with the charm slot. Like I know that the charm gonna go down in price probably, so this is why I'm not spending too much on that. I think that in 1 week all the price gonna have gone down by probably more than half, like maybe 4 times less. So yeah, don't spend too much on charm right now. Yeah. So I got 152 con, so when I use a roasted rabbit I reach 200 con, and then for the scaling of the rapier I go 150 int and the rest in dexterity. You can try to lower your int and put more dex, and on the right side right there you're gonna see this is your base damage. you can try to reach a better number, but that's gonna be pretty hard. You're gonna probably have to lower your con to do it. And then there's that buff that could be good. Maybe I could go for, but I'm already near the empower cap, and this empower is only 3 seconds. So that would not be always on. I decided to not go for it, but that could still be a nice thing for this, mostly if you don't have like keenly empower in your stuff. If you want to be into the DPS version, you can go 5 to 50 con and then put like 350 dex, 150 int and plus, and that could be a nice option. So people are gonna do a lot of meta crafting. Right now the rapier scale good, but after 150 you start getting less from the scaling. So I'm still unsure if the people are gonna use the 25 strength and 25 focus buff. If you have the Atu Nether Pants, it's probably still worth it. But since I play with Nimble Coat and the Tumbler Feet Trap, I decided to not go for them. But you know, the Rapier feel good with the focus. But now it's only 3%, it's not 5% anymore. So they did reduce those two buff. So maybe going for the scaling is just better. So yeah, this is kinda it. If you want to be a tank, you can go for like some leeching perk like this charm right there and put it a bit more on your gear. And if you want to lean more toward the DPS, you're gonna go for vicious and a rogue. Since you're gonna tank, you're gonna use more vicious, and if you want to be more a DPS, you can go more with rogue. You just need to stay aware that not every boss into the game take backstab properly, so vicious always gonna be a viable option. So yeah, there is this life ring rapier, it's a good option, or the finisher. And then there's another rapier that is pretty good. It's the Beast Fang. It dropped from one of the world boss. I would recommend those because when I tried to open some cash to get a rapier, it took me like 20 cash and I get no good rapier. I don't think that the Catacomb cash is a good option to get a good rapier. So Life Ring Rapier gonna be an amazing starter. And if you don't want Rogue onto the Rapier, maybe you're gonna have to craft one or buy it onto the market. Like, seriously. Rogue is still amazing, but since I'm face tanking a lot when I'm into the tank build, sometimes it gets useless. But still, this Rapier, the damage is amazing. Mostly with 800 gear score, I've seen it. The damage is pretty good. So I want to thanks everyone for watching my video. If I forget something, just tell me. I think I covered everything, but since it's a new season, there's always some new thing. There is a perk called Empower Red, okay? The Empower Red perk gonna make Keenly Empower last longer, and you can probably always have Keenly Empower on if you use that perk called Empower Red too. So I would recommend to maybe try to get a stack or two. I still not tried it, but it's gonna be into some of my testing because right now there's gonna be some gap where I'm not gonna be empower cap. But you know, I got some empower from the tumbler too. It's mostly when I'm gonna be with Toad, the nimble coat and the Atu leather pants build. But even then, I'm probably gonna get a earring that's gonna give me empower toast. So yeah, there is some meta crafting to do. You guys just gotta remember your empower cap to 50%, and then there's some rune glass and stuff like that. It can give me more. You see your melee attack deal 1% more damage. This is an empower. And then there's the harnessing. There's now the slash and the truss harnessing. But I would not recommend it because the rapier have some, like into the light attack, there's some slash and truss, but the flurry is all trust. So you can put some truss harnessing if you feel like it, but it's a part of your empower cap, so there's some good chance that it's gonna do nothing for you if you can already reach your empower cap by some other source. So this is it for this video. I want to thank everyone for watching my content. I wish you a good day. Peace out.